Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 87 of Let's Play Tales of Arise, where we're gonna probably get a massive cutscenes.
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out. This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
Okay, so I ended the last part on a hunch. My apologies, guys, so hopefully we'll make it up in this one.
For the people of Lenegis, the Forbidden Zone is the stuff of dreams. Yet here I am, standing within its hallowed halls.
It's off limits even for lords, then? Talk about an exclusive club.
Being exclusive is one thing, but how many important facilities let in only the Sovereign? Doesn't that seem a little strange?
Strange doesn't cover it. If it was only one room, maybe. But a place on this scale? How do they keep it from falling into ruin? Whoever the Sovereign is, they can't manage the upkeep of this whole place themselves.
Did no one ever talk about it when you were growing up?
No, not that I can remember. Then again, Sovereigns and Forbidden Zones weren't exactly breakfast table conversations.
The Forbidden Zone is a hallowed place, at one with the Sovereign's authority. Grounds of the one true ruler who presides over all Renans. That is what we believed this place to be. No, what we were made to believe it was. But now, it is finally time to discover this area's true purpose, and why it was kept hidden behind the scenes for so long.
An operating table. Many subjects undoubtedly never came back from their operations on this. Ah, it's pretty fucking grim.
I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records, by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Danan astral energy, so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure, taking the form of a Danan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign?
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Cores. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title, Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique Adjustment Index generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 Sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the Sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the Sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a Sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign, and Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
Only 2 Sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all this time? And if that's the case, why keep on doing it? Was there really no other way? Or could there be some other reason?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
I'm fine. I'm just a little shaken, that's all. I knew what I was already, so it's not like it's a surprise or anything. But it's strange. I've got all this rage inside of me, but I don't even know who it's for. I'm scared that I'll put a face to it, just to have someone to blame.
If that were to happen, then No. Then we'd help you fight it, before you ever got that far. Wouldn't we, everyone?
Yeah. We wouldn't just sit by and watch you spiral out of control.
That's right. No good can come from being consumed by hatred.
If you ever start to lose your way, you can count on us to guide you back. To remind you where home is.
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear, should you ever have need.
Thank you, everyone. I think I'll be okay now.
So, select a topic to explore, Lords. Each crown contest, 5 of the best qualified members of the Renan populace are chosen to act as Lord, vying to serve as the next sovereign. During their tenure, they are granted level 3 authority, as well as one of 5 elemental realms to administer in its corresponding Master Core. They are also assigned an ID crest indicating their designated element. The selection process is based on only astral artistry and physical and mental aptitude. Other variables such as age have no bearing whatsoever. Because only the strongest can go on to become lords, their position itself does not inherently make an individual any stronger. It should be noted, however, that lords are not the only individuals capable of drawing out a Master Core's power. All Renans must take part in the selection process, and acceptance of the position is mandatory. It is not allowed for those deemed suitable to decline. Furthermore, in the event that an acting lord is incapacitated and can no longer serve in their position, a replacement must be quickly prepared. Unique Adjustment Index Test Subject Report. The following is a report of the second successful case of Sovereign Test Subject Experimentation. Test Subject number 10105, given name Volran, Generation NA, Unique Adjustment Index, Efficiency NA. Although subject possessed high latent potential, it exhibits significant mental instability along with a strong distaste for following orders. As such, the risk it poses surpasses even those of the last successful subject, itself a failure, and is therefore under consideration for disposal. Addendum. This is the first successful case in over 300 years. Previously mentioned risk factors are now mitigated due to established control protocols. Subject is to be elevated under the assumption that Plan 2 will proceed and will be dispatched to Dana under the guise of serving as a lord. Interesting. Master Cores. Master Cores are instruments of power containing astral energy that belong to one of the 6 elements. 5 of these Master Cores, those of Earth, Water, Fire, Wind, and Light, are loaned to Renan Lords at the time of the Crown Contest. Only the Dark Master Core is maintained inside the Forbidden Zone until the Renan's Alma is ready to be reformed, its existence kept top secret. Underneath the Master Core's spherical outer layer is a force field crystal used for the purpose of astral energy containment and stabilization. Inside the force field, astral energy is stored in a dormant state. For the duration of the tenure, each lord competes in the Crown Contest to amass this allotted type of astral energy. In event of emergency, each lord may be allowed to withdraw from their respective stock of astral energy as necessary. However, the extent allowed is determined based on their individual strength. Addendum 1. Design flaws have been discovered in how the Renis Alma materializes. Be advised that active Master Cores may resonate with other Master Cores located in close proximity and become unstable. Addendum 2. Due to successful regeneration of the Renis Alma, Master Cores will cease to be deployed and the Crown Contest will be permanently halted. Interesting. Spirit Core. Spirit Cores are end terminals used for the collection of astral energy. When embedded in a biological subject, it establishes spirit connections throughout its body. These connections are used to amass astral energy generated from physical activity, which is then emitted from the host body itself. Because this emitted energy is prone to diffuse, the host must be placed within the range of a spirit vessel for the energy to be collected. This means that Danas must be employed to harvest the astral energy for the purpose of the Crown Contest. Given the difficulty in producing them, it is advised that spirit cores be retrieved from host bodies and reused upon their death. Spirit cores can also be embedded in Zeugles to control them via astral arts. Addendum. Increased physical load on a host body tends to produce increased astral energy emissions. Final confirmation of ideal workload to impose on the host bodies without including death for maximum astral energy yield is still pending. Okay, so they've been doing a lot of fucking research on this. Lenegis. A large-scale astral energy converter that primarily converts the elemental composition of Dana's astral element and transmits it to Renna. Activation and control of astral energy conversion is achieved by placing the Sovereign Maiden and Renis Alma within the central core of Lenegis. It is comprised of classified and essential personnel residential zones around a large conduit along with a defensive layer surrounding them. This outer layer is deployed upon activation, unlocking the central conduit, which while simultaneously functioning as a stabilization mechanism. Due to its design, deployment of the outer layer is expected to cause damage to residential zones. However, because that only takes place during the final stage of the spirit channeling ceremony, no contingency plan to address said damage is needed. Until that phase, Lenegis serves as the central base of operations for the management and execution of the Crown Contest on Dana. Warning: Any personnel with level 3 authority or lower is strictly forbidden from the classified zone. Any violators will be immediately executed. Untouchable Harvester. A massive spirit vessel placed on Dana for the spirit channel ceremony. It serves as the tip of Lenegis' conduit from which it separates. Upon landing in Dana's waters, it extends 2 sets of conduit pathways. The vertical pathway connects to the center of Dana. Meanwhile, the horizontal pathway proceeds to develop the entire surface of Dana. Once activated, it links the biological spirit vessels placed in each realm, effectively harvesting the planet's astral energy en masse. The accumulated energy is then transmitted to Rennis via Lenegis. Because construction and adjustments take place in the Forbidden Zone regulatory area, Lenegis' outer layer must be deployed prior to launch. Intended to function semi-autonomously, only maintenance personnel are expected to manually interface with it when necessary. No other staff members necessary. Addendum 1, Detachable Harvester 1 was lost on Dana after exploding due to rampancy exhibited by the Sovereign. Addendum 2, Detachable Harvester 2 landing point will remain the same as that of the previous model. This is due to the explosion of the previous model, which altered the planetary topography, enabling easier connection to the center of Dana. Okay. Selected topic. Sedative Mask. A device covering the wearer's whole face that restricts their mental activity. It was developed for the purpose of pacifying prisoners. Medical application are also recognized, particularly as a means of preventing patients from sustaining mental trauma. However, doing so is not recommended, as prolonged use of the device carries a risk of inducing a number of adverse side effects. Addendum: due to the loss of production facilities incurred from the partial destruction of Lenegis, additional devices will no longer be manufactured. After receiving reports of a robust new form of rule emergency in Dana's water realm, a study was commissioned to investigate the matter in depth. The system is unique in that it elevates only the Lord as the supreme authority while relegating both Renans and Danas alike to enslavement. Test subject number 10105 serves as the realm's current Lord and has achieved this without the use of special powers, drugs, or special devices. Rather, it is done by sheer governance. Given this method's effectiveness at population control, monitoring of the situation will continue. Addendum 1. Collapse of cognitive facilities via extreme mental repression rooted in violence and fear has proven to be key to this style of rule. Once the subjects lose its autonomy, they become desensitized to fear and subsequently cease to prioritize even their own personal safety. Though such a state is ill-suited for commanding officers, it remains an effective way to cultivate disposable infantry and slaves for manual labor. Addendum 2. Soldiers in Lenegis who have undergone this treatment will be asked to secure classified sectors as a trial. The results will be monitored. So they essentially used... So Volran built his own type of slaves. Bloody hell. The Sovereign. The Sovereign acts as Lenegis' central control device for the Spirit Channel ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. So wow, Sovereign is actually lower ranked than a Lord. A Danan subject serves as the base of its creation. In theory, ideal candidates possess equal affinity for every astral element. However, such aptitude is statistically rare to uncover within two real-world conditions. As a result, most subjects die during the adjustment period, and stability is not guaranteed for those who survive it. The instability, coupled with the Sovereign's powers of astral manipulation, pose a high risk to the security of Lenegis if left unchecked. As such, stabilization measures must be put in place via the support mechanism when utilizing the Sovereign in the spirit channeling ceremony. Addendum 1. No effective alternative methods to perform the ceremony have been found. Trials on Danan subjects are authorized to continue. Addendum 2. Unit 2's adjustments are a success. Subsequent adjustments are to be put on hold while observation takes place. The Maiden. The Maiden acts as a sovereign support mechanism for the Spirit Channel ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. A Renin subject serves its functions, providing the Sovereign with the supplemental Dark Astral it lacks in tandem with the Renner's armor. During the ceremony, it is partially responsible for astral conversion, as well as maintaining stability over the Sovereign's own powers. Additionally, the degree of intimacy between it and the Sovereign has been observed to positively impact the level of stability in both subjects. Because of this, trial activations of the Sovereign without the Maiden present are expressly forbidden. Furthermore, neither the Sovereign nor the Maiden are to be informed about the details of the spirit channeling plan. Addendum 1. Mental instability in the Maiden has been deemed the cause of the past Sovereign's rampancy. Countermeasures must be considered. Addendum 2. In line with plan adjustments, The current subject will have its maiden's registration revoked and be returned to its original household. So, essentially, the issues that were present due to Naori seem to... So essentially, they fucked over Naori, and that opened up the issue of the Fawns, I think. And notice, this area will now be shut down as the project proceeds to the final phase. It's showing Lenegis structures. You can see pipes for transporting astral energy sticking out of them. It's showing the room's equipment. It hasn't been used in a long time. Wow, consider me fucking skeptical. Okay, though I assumed that these two would be usable as well, but no, I was wrong. Okay, let's keep moving. A room unchanged over 3 centuries, like the time itself has stopped here. Some life balls. I feel like these should be elixirs at this point, game. Come on. I definitely remember this area. You see lots of numbers, looks of the locks of alignment between subjects and Lenegis proper. I noticed this area. Okay, yeah, that's. These are the same as the ones previously. Okay.
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Renan never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
Naori...
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen. That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.